If you had to change anything when you were starting out, if you could go back and change something from when you were starting out, what would that be?
My shoes.
I
Socks?
was really hoping you would have said your underwear, but
Socks?
okay.
Hey, it's family show. Don't say that B word.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to talk about my emotions.
Mine's pretty simple. This is actually a serious answer, not a joke. I would either not become a DJ or I would only spin EDM because the top 40 stuff has absolutely ruined music for me to where I don't want to listen to anything. It just absolutely ruins it for me. So I would either not become a DJ or only spin the kind of music I love. So
interesting. And I wonder if that would have allowed you to create and be able to do your things that you love to do, and yet be able to finance your lifestyle.
Probably not. At least not here. You'd have to travel.
Yeah,
it would be a life of travel for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I normally don't like answering questions like that because, again, you go through things in life. It's way out of your control most of the time. Life is, and you gain perspective, intelligence, wisdom, sympathy, empathy from things you go through that if you would have made your path, you wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot in life that I think I wouldn't have had if I got the thing that was, the life that was in my mind.
Sure.
And I think that's one of the things I've been trying to focus on over the past about 6 months. There was a quote that says, what messes us up most is the picture in our mind that we think our life should be, instead of looking at the life that we have. And that's what I've been trying to look at and go, I technically, because somebody asked me, it was on one of these question things, what would your younger you say about your career? I would have said I failed miserably. I failed at every step of the way.
Oh, sure.
I'm not on tour. I'm not doing EDM. I'm not doing anything. I've completely failed. But this completely failed person has a house and a car and a motorcycle and hangs out and gets to sit and be creative in the middle of the week for no reason whatsoever. And that's pretty darn special.
Sure.
So
I think there's also like some validity. Like there's two ways to look at this. One is, are you doing now what you wanted to do then? And I think that's where you can kind of find yourself. Listen, I went through all these things. I grew. I'm a better person for what happened, and I have a way to look at my life in a different sense. And so I think exactly like what you're saying. Like I get all these positive things that is a failure to what my old me was, but it was a younger, more ignorant, or naive,
unexperienced
person, right? But I think in the same respect, like you can be in the position that you're at and say, for example, you're at where you're at now because of the things you went through.
Mm-hmm.
Could you have looked back at that starting you and said, listen, this is where you get to be me. This is where you're going to get to where you're going to be happy. Let's find a way to get to that sooner. I've already learned, I've learned what I need to do to be happy. And so let's work on getting you to know it earlier so that I can be happy longer.
That would be a miracle of a thing to look at that and say, go back even 10 years and change a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be significant.
Guys, you guys went.
What about you, John? I want to go last on this one.
Yeah, well, you guys are going deep on this. I was thinking, I wish I would have started wearing earplugs sooner and protected my hearing. I mean, we've obviously hit this topic before, but just recently there's been discussion about hearing, and actually that's one of our questions down. Another question here, I would have started wearing earplugs. Not only performing early on with some of the teen dances we did, but even to wear it mowing lawn and things would have been advantageous.
I have a significant difference between my right. I have really, really good hearing, but there is above average, but there's a significant difference between my right ear and my left ear from all the years of on the farm.
Yeah,
shooting and blinking.
Yeah,
which I look at that and go, that is so interesting. There is just
a difference, yeah, and it's like the gun isn't that much farther from.
No, you'd think about, and I never shot that many. I mean, a few shotguns. I did a few deer hunting, but most of the time we were target practicing with the 22. That isn't that loud, but it's enough.
It was enough. Yeah. Wow. All right, Dan, take this. Give us the in depth.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to go. I'm going to go that in depth. I just didn't feel like 1 second that time. So it's one of those. It's one of those things where I would, Robbie Britton said to me one time, because he and I never met when I used to live down. I was like 20 minutes from where he was at, and it was when I was just getting out of college and doing a bunch of different just odd jobs, trying to make it go of radio and failing miserably at trying to get it to go. And at that time, I never really considered being a full-time DJ because I didn't know anybody who did that.
Sure.
Like that was not even a vocabulary or a profession that I knew of at that point. And this was early 2000s. And it was probably not until 10 years later before I even found out about, the DJ Expo in Atlantic City. So there was all these years that I felt were missed opportunities. Now, I don't know if I would go back and tell my younger self to say, hey, you can make a career of this. But I think I would definitely say, hey, look at these other people that are, that you can have as actual mentors that are doing this as a career. So you know how to take it serious. You know how to charge accordingly. You know how to set the bar better and make myself a better all around entertainment company.
Sure.
Whether that's DJ and the business, DJ side as well as the business side, and making that whole piece better, and not lost in theory 10 years. I mean, I have a friend of mine locally who, he's just about 10 years younger than I am, and I feel like he has such a jump start on where his career can go because of what he did and who he had reached out to, myself included, and a few others in our area, when he was like, I want to do this, and made a go of it. So that's what I would do. I would go back and at least introduce myself to these other people and get started. And if that led to full time, then that'd be a different story.
Sure.
But yeah. There you go.
Yeah, well, that's good. Very good. All right. Let's jump to our next question.